Good morning, Sal.
Hey.
And it's 6 weeks to Christmas. That's amazing.
As if this year hasn't been tumultuous enough and now it's Christmas around the corner. Really? Goodness me.
Maybe we should cancel it. What do you reckon?
I think let's just cancel the whole year.
You can't cancel the past, Sal. You should know that.
Absolutely. We're living in the moment, which is 2021.
So, Sal, serious question. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Well, to be honest, I actually haven't had breakfast. I've had a cup of tea.
You had a cup of tea. So what was in the tea?
Oh, it's actually through Tiang. It's a liver cleansing tea bag. And my breakfast so far has been a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and the tea bag.
So that's really interesting. You had no idea I was going to ask this question. So why the apple cider vinegar?
Well, I've been doing a lot of research into resetting hormones and digestion, and we're both big on the gut. And I was having squeezing some lemon juice into my water in the mornings, and then I found my teeth were the enamel was coming off them. So now I'm trying apple cider vinegar, yes, and putting it down. But someone suggested drinking it through a straw so it doesn't take the enamel off your teeth, because I really love the lemon in water, but I did find my teeth were going funny. Have you ever found that?
Yeah, it would do.
Yeah. So that leads into our topic today, Harry.
So you still haven't answered my question.
What's that? Why do I take it?
Yeah, why do you take it? People will be interested.
Oh, for stimulating digestion and better gut health.
Stimulating digestion. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Absolutely, yes.
Get the gut going in the morning.
That's right. And that's a segue into our topic today, which is what you eat and what's in it.
Yes, and what you also put on your skin. So it's additives and products in what we're eating and what we're putting on ourselves.
So you haven't asked me what I had for breakfast, but I'll let you.
And Harry, what have you had for breakfast?
So I had my coffee.
Yes, you kickstart. Yeah.
What does that have in it? It has just coffee beans. I grind them myself. Water, which is structured and then filtered.
Yeah.
And milk, which is full cream.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, there are no low-fat cows. I haven't met any. I've been looking for one for decades. In fact, I haven't met one yet.
Yeah, I've never met a low-fat animal.
And then we have my toaster marmalade.
Yes.
And the toast is homemade, and we grind our own wheat.
Yes.
And so it's got no nasties in it. And my marmalade is what I make, which has sugar and several oranges. That's it. So we've both been very careful this morning about what we put in our body.
Yeah.
Because we're honouring this vessel.
You are what you eat, Harry.
Really, no, you aren't. You are what you absorb, actually.
Right, yes.
Sorry to correct you.
Well, what do you absorb out of what you choose to eat?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that there's the minefield of additives in foods. And one of the things that's really important, and in fact, I'll go and get this. It's really important. Just go and get this prop.
Well, the other day I did Tiang's anti-aging clinic.
Yes.
And that's what it opened my eyes. So it was a 4-day challenge, and then we had to go and get our skincare and have a look on the labels. First of all, I could hardly read the labels. Mm-hmm. And then because we had a list of things that were bad, I was shocked and horrified at how many things are in expensive, good quality skincare. It's frightening. And that was just in the skincare. So is your stuff relating to food?
So there's two easy pathways for absorbing stuff. Mm-hmm. The gut.
Yep.
And the skin.
The skin's the largest organ, absolutely.
So I'll just explain how, one of the journeys that I had. I was very sick when we lived in Darwin, mm-hmm. and the rest of the family who was living with me got sick needed a break from me.
Yep.
So they shot off to New Zealand and they left me on my little lonesome, which is a little boring. So one day I went down to the supermarket to do some shopping, and I thought, I have a look at butters, spreads, you know, just do some research. I've got the whole day, whatever. And I went through every single packet of butter, spreadable butter, because I like to have it, you know, so you can actually use the stuff without using a jackhammer.
Yeah.
And I only found one that had no additives. Only one.
Yep.
And it was this one.
And that's still the same way today. I've been using that for years. It's the only one, I think, Harry.
And if you have a look at it, the ingredients, I'll read them out. Salted butter, pasteurized cream from milk, salt, and milk fat. So basically just salt, water, I don't know. No, just milk and fat.
Yeah.
Sorry, milk and salt. Made in New Zealand.
Yep.
And if you look at everything else, the dairy, the butter has been mixed with something else, a grain.
Yep.
And then the grain has been turned, or the oil's been turned into a solid. When you turn an oil into a solid, it goes through a hydrogenation process, and that ain't good for the nutrition of it. In other words, you crack the molecules open, you change the molecule structure, so instead of being a rigid molecule, it's flexible. So it goes from a liquid to a solid, and you destroy parts of the nutrition.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It's not good for the body. The body was designed to absorb natural products.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you see all this crap, you know, olive oil spread, olive oil is a liquid. It's not a solid. Let me tell you that. You know, it's a liquid. And you get a tub of it looking like this, they turn something nasty to it. Something very nasty. And if you're interested, you know, a lot of the additives are really nasty. I mean, olive oil is basically quite a nice input, but some of the inputs are GM products and so on.
Yeah, yes.
So just thinking about the spreadable that you put on, you know, your toast.
Yep.
It's a minefield. The other thing is that Australian food labelling have this let out clause where if it's less than 5% of the weight, you don't need to list it on the label.
Yeah, yeah.
So heck, we can have 5% cocaine in here and it doesn't have to be listed. We can have MSG on here and it not be listed. And even if they list it, there's something like 28 ways to say it.
Yep. And yes, that's what I found through all my research. You have to be really on the ball. So what was I going to say? The TGA. So we've got the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Admin, but also, have you heard of this one? So cosmetics in Australia are regulated by the Australian Government's National Industrial Chemicals Notification and Assessment Scheme. And they ensure that no significant harm is caused for users or to the environment. But there's so many loopholes to get things passed. And as you said, you only have to put out a certain percentage of stuff. There's so many hidden nasties in so many products. And so we really encourage people to get off those processed and packaged foods because they've got so much stuff in there that it's just, you know, to me, some of it's just big words and I don't really know what it means. I remember coming across, sodium lauryl sulfate 1,000 years ago and realizing that's in most soaps, shampoos, skin stuff, and it's really, really bad for you. And it's in just about every product I pick up if you look at the labels. And it's hard to know what to stick to, to be honest. You know, when I did the skincare thing last week, what I thought was good because it had a big chemical name to it was actually bad, and it's so confusing what's good and what's bad out there, Harry. I think it's just it is confusing. You know, we were talking about just food wise, even when we're talking fresh food, there's different qualities of the fresh food, you know, and you know, we spoke about this last year, I think. But
you mean like that and then limp?
yeah, absolutely. You know, the dirty dozen and the clean 15. So
you've got to explain that. You can't just having introduced that, please explain.
So those are freshly grown fruit and veggies, those that are subject to more chemicals, if you like, that sprayers or whatever when they're being grown, that is the Dirty Dozen, and the cleanest things. So the Clean 15, and it's usually ones that have a skin on it, isn't it? The ones that are more cleaner, that are less subject to toxic exposure, I suppose.
It just depends how easy they are to grow. The way I look at Dirty Dozen Clean 15 is if you're a family on a budget, you want to feed your kids the most organic you can afford, then what you do is you allocate your organic spend to the Dirty Dozen. And you don't buy organic for the Clean 15. So, for instance, you never need to buy organic sweet potato. Because it doesn't need anything. It grows like a weed. But if you were going to buy strawberries, they are riddled with toxins. Right?
But there's actually the top one on the Dirty Dozen: strawberries, spinach, nectarines. I know fruits are apples, grapes, peaches. I remember peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, potatoes, and capsicum. Whereas the Clean 15, as I said before, sometimes with the skins, avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, cabbages, that's a new one, onions, sweet peas frozen, there you go. Didn't know that was on there. Papayas, asparagus, mangoes, eggplants, honeydew, kiwi fruit, rock melon, cauliflower, and broccoli. So it's interesting because I know in the States, broccoli I was pretty sure it was up there on the Dirty Dozen because it's so highly sprayed. I think it's 4 or 5 times.
They use more spray there, for sure. I just wanted to go back to something you said about cosmetics.
Yes.
It's actually industry self-regulated.
Right,
That's why so much stuff sneaks through.
Oh, even the marketing saying reduces fine lines and wrinkles. It's not scientifically proven. They can just say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, marketing.
The other big thing, if you're buying anything cosmetic or any product, and it includes this word fragrance. That can mean absolutely anything.
Well, it really opened my eyes when I did this skincare challenge the other day. With what's in there, I've found the top 20 chemicals. I mean, formaldehyde, excuse me, I know that's bad. Mercury, it's just terrible what's in cosmetics. And then it's all a whole heap of chemical names that I've never heard of. But I had in general, I was just doing some searching, and toxic ingredients in some other personal care items. On average, a body wash, 20 chemicals at least. Mascara, 31. And this is just a generalized one, so it's not specific brands. Aftershave, 19 chemicals. Moisturizer, this is where it opened my eyes. There was 40 on general, 16 in deodorant, and shampoo 32. And that's before we even delve down into the different brands and what it actually, the flow-on effects, how it affects you, what it does. Do you remember someone we met and they started going through early menopause because of the skincare products that they were?
I was just going to trigger that question for you.
Yeah. And that opened my eyes. And to think, I think they're in their late 20s, started going through menopause and I think they're a beauty therapist or something, putting good quality, expensive products on your skin. But it wasn't actually doing, what it was supposed to be doing according to the label.
So what's happened is they've been exposed to something, probably what's put on their skin, and it disrupts the hormones. I remember when I was for Coles Myer, and I was in the lift with one of the cosmetics buyers, and they were queens because the margins are the best. She said, if you want to buy a skin moisturizer, buy the cheapest. It's probably the best.
Has the least in it.
That paradox. It's got less in it.
Years ago, I was told to just have Sorbeline. So
exactly. And preferably without fragrance.
So
avoid anything with the word fragrance on it.
It's
because they can put. I'll tell you a story. When we first got married, I used to get my dear wife Emma perfume, obviously, and I would get Jean Patou's Joy. It was very expensive, but it lasted a couple of days. Nothing but really good ingredients. It's basically a rose perfume.
Beautiful.
And to make a bottle, you need so many kilos of rose petals to make up the perfume.
Mm.
Nowadays, it still smells the same, but it doesn't last very long. Maybe it lasts 3 or 4 hours. It used to last days.
Yeah.
And that's because they've taken out the ingredient from Wales, the ambergris. But most of the perfumes, yesterday I was walking down and this woman passed me and this whiff of, basically awful. I felt assaulted by the smell that wafted past me.
Assaulted.
Some horrible cheap perfume. Look, everybody that's watching, stop buying cheap perfume. No, your body smells better than that. It's awful. And what it's doing to you is terrible.
Yeah.
Then, if you're going to buy perfume, spend the money.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, use less of it. Use it every other day. Don't buy the cheap stuff. It's awful.
You know, Harry, on that note, years ago when I used to be working in corporate, but I'd just spray perfume and I was making my skin dry out, obviously, not thinking about it. But I thought, what's happening to my skin? And it was, just drying it every day because it's the alcohol in there. I was surprised that just the amount of crap stuff.
You're a teetotaler now, so.
Teetotaler? No, not at all.
Oh, you just mentioned alcohol. I'm sorry.
Yeah, spraying it on your skin. It's interesting here. See, just general food additives that I was aware of most of these, but some I wasn't. MSG, of course, up there. Nothing worse than MSG in your food.
So MSG has been implicated with ADHD.
Yes, that was just about to lead into that because the next one was artificial food colouring. Now, my eldest Jack, he had not put a bad thing into his mouth until he was 2. He went to a birthday party and, I think a nanny gave him I think it was about 4 mini M&Ms, and he also had some corn chips. Now, he'd never eaten a bad thing, being the first one. It was all organic, it was all natural, trying to be the perfect mother, whatever. And anyway, he went off the roof. He was like high as a kite. And then, long story short, I took him to a naturopath and we realised that salicylates in natural fruit and veggies can also make kids very hyper. And that's when I started looking into what's in food because I could see in my own kid just a couple of M&Ms and corn chips with the crap that's in it, how it affects kids. So you would see this all the time, Harry.
Absolutely. And if a child has a really bad, like if we've got a child who has really bad days and really good days, what I would do is talk to the mum and I would empower her to be a detective. You be the mum detective. What I want you to do is write down a food diary and preceding every bad day episode, have a look at what different thing they put in their mouth in the previous 36 hours. The odds are that'll be the culprit. And it can be something good. It can be a whole food. Could be a tomato with salicylates in it. Could be an organic tomato grown in your garden with love that still will trigger something. And the problem is, there's a great piece of advice I could give to viewers today. Only get food that your grandmother would recognize as a food. And so if you're getting lots of stuff that isn't in that category, and we're being bombarded by Wi-Fi and chemicals and glyphosate and all the rest of it, what happens is we're born with a bucket. We're born with a bucket, if you like, in our DNA. And that bucket allows us to tolerate a certain amount of intrusions, chemical intrusions, chemical and also emotional intrusions, but we'll just talk about the chemical. If it gets up to there, we're not going to show any symptoms, okay? But once the bucket's full, when it starts flowing over, that's when we see symptoms. That's when we get a tipping point in the body. So, we acquire asthma or we acquire ADHD or whatever it is. And it's very hard to get back over a tipping point. And we know from many studies that different people have different size buckets based on their genetics, based on how their parents and grandparents lived.
Yeah.
So if your parents and grandparents lived good lives, low stress, good food, plenty of sunshine and so on, that gives you a greater capacity to withstand. So that's why, one child,
Yep.
John can go to Macca's for 20 years and show nothing, but Betty goes to Macca's and fails after 7 years. That's why, because you've got different endowments. And that's not fair, but that's life. Suck it up.
Yeah.
But you can reduce your risk.
Yep.
You can reduce your risk of filling up the bucket and tipping into symptoms, which can be awful. I mean, you can get whatever it is, too much sugar, and then you get diabetes. One person will get it.
Yep.
The other person won't with the same bad diet. It's bad luck, but you can reduce risk. Take self-responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's what I put in my model today, because I bang on about this all the time about gut health, because ongoing inflammation down the track, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, the whole lot, diabetes, as you said, it's not so much now you might feel you're okay, but you keep putting this crap in or inflaming the gut, it's going to have long-term effects. And we're both really big into preventing illness down the track by doing sensible things now, or just being aware. I think the key thing is awareness. Just be aware of your choices, of what you're choosing to put on your skin and put in your mouth and give to your kids and your family. Because, luckily, I stumbled across that with Jack when he was 2 and now he's 19. So being very aware of the effects of this crappy food. But, a lot of people aren't. They're just, all those packets. I know when the kids were going through primary school and you give them the snacks and you go to the healthy aisle in the supermarket, and anything in the middle of the supermarket you really have to be wary of, because it's not the fresh fruit and veggies. It's all packaged stuff. So the healthy snacks aren't necessarily healthy. It's just the labeling.
Yeah, I mean, look at the percentage of sugar, just simple thing.
Yeah.
Look at there's a column on foodstuffs with 100 grams. It's on the right.
Yep.
And if you've got, you don't look at per serving, per 100 grams. And if it's 100 grams, it's got 56. If you look down that column anyway, I've gone blank.
Yeah. Because
you can work out the percentage of sugar. You can
Yeah.
work out the percentage of salt and so on.
Yeah, that's right, sugar and salt. But I think, isn't it 30 grams for an adult a day of sugar, which is about 6 teaspoons in total. So some of these things have got 50 odd grams or more just in one serve in a packet. So,
I mean, the big thing is added sugar.
Yeah. Natural sugars in fruit. Yeah, I get that.
Oh, vegetables.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
milk. Milk got, I mean, I have milk in my coffee every day, and the milk is really sweet because I do eat some added sugar. Yes, I do.
So I did a little, just a little model today, and it's just very basic stuff that we've already said. But basically, read the labels, read everything as much as you can.
Could one of us should get something out of the pantry and go through the labels.
Yeah.
I could, or you. Shall I go and get something?
Yes. Why don't you go and get something?
And you continue with your model.
Okay. So my first thing is 1, read the labels, read everything. Number 2 is research into food additives, into skincare. So, what's good, what's not, because it'll help you save a lot of money. And the third one is reduce the use of eating processed and packaged foods and using products with lots of additives. So when you read the labels and you research everything, you make more informed choices. So you end up making better choices and saving money. So when you research around all your skincare and food additives and reduce the amount of crap that you're putting into your system and on it, then you're going to increase your amount of fresh foods. And then finally, when you're reducing all the crap and reading all the labels, you're going to reduce your risk of illness down the track and feel a lot fitter. So you'll overall be healthier and happier and look better too. Because you glow. You can see when you're using good products or eating good food. Yes, look at your beautiful glow today, Harry. So what have you grabbed out of the cupboard today?
Okay, so this is a premium jam from France.
Yes, beautiful.
Really yummy. I mean, European fruit tastes good. What are the ingredients? It says no preservatives, no artificial colours or flavours. So it's making that statement, they're blanket statements, ingredients, and so the ingredients are blueberries, 55% sugar. So ingredients are listed in order of importance.
Right.
So the majority of the ingredients of this is fruit, which is unusual. Then sugar, then pectin. Pectin's to set the jam, and lemon juice. That's it. So this jam is expensive.
Yep.
Got gourmet quality on the bottom, which means absolutely nothing. But it does. Oh my God, it tastes lovely. It smells lovely. So that's one thing. Second one, this is a staple. This is from Aldi, organic tomato.
Yep.
Most tomatoes from Italy. Unfortunately, not the Australian one. Okay. So remember, I said that
Sugar and salt.
on the back of the label, you get the 100-gram listing. These are the ingredients per 100 grams.
Yeah, that's not bad.
They're always listed on the right-hand side of this label.
Yep.
And that's the column you need to have a look at.
Yep.
You can then work out the percentages.
Yep.
So this has, per 100 grams, it has 3.2 grams of carbohydrates. So that's 3.2%. Just move the decimal point.
Yep.
8 milligrams of sodium, so it's got a little bit of salt.
Yep.
It's got 0.2 grams of fat, and it's got, about 1% protein. So that's tomatoes. Of course, it's got salicylates in it. We know that because that's what tomatoes have.
Yeah, yeah.
But think about it, is it worth paying the extra 20 cents for getting the organic on the label? We think it is.
Yeah, and it's very reasonably priced in Aldi. But one thing I should point out is Passata. Passata is so high in sugar and very high in salt too. And, with kids, it's a bit of a staple in your pantry. But I got onto that a while back too.
So here's the last one. Good old Armytage, which used to be owned by Campbell's. Salada. We all know Salada. Everybody's had a Salada.
Yeah, yeah. Back in the 70s, I think.
So what do they say on the packet? They're always going to tell you the good things on the packet.
Low saturated fat, no artificial colours, flavours or preservatives, baked with unsaturated oil, and baked with the goodness of Australian wheat.
Right. On the back, we can discover what's in it. So this is it. If you're buying the food, you actually need to go through the boring process of reading the labels.
Yeah, yep.
Now, these labels will have, sorry, I think I missed out something here. Yep, sorry, gonna have to go back. Rewind. Pause, rewind. The old cassette tapes?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the ingredients? What are the ingredients here? This is the can.
Diced organic tomatoes, 65%. Organic tomato juice, 34.9%, and acidity regulator, 330. Anything with numbers, that's what.
What's the 330? Now, what we're going to do is look up 330 because we don't know what it is. And we've got an app called the Chemical Maze.
Correct.
And you can buy that. I'm going to promote this unashamedly. I've got no connection with these people.
Yep.
It's an Australian app, and they also put out a book. They're wonderful people. If I type in 330, which I'm going to do now.
Yep. I'll give you a race.
It is citric acid.
Citric acid is on the banned list. Yes, snap.
Citric acid has got a green label, so that means it's safe.
Yeah.
See the green dot with the smile? That means it's okay. Now, even with a green dot, this app has a traffic light system. Red means you should really avoid it. Stop at the lights.
Yep.
Orange, take care. Green means you're probably okay. But any additive runs a risk. And citric acid, although it's given a green star, can provoke symptoms in those who react to MSG with GI symptoms.
Yep.
So some of the population may be sensitive to this, but because it's got a green dot and they've done the research, most of us can tolerate that, and that's okay.
Yep.
I'm not worried about that at all. I don't have symptoms in relation to
I'm pretty sure 220. Let me check that up. But I'm pretty sure that's sulfur dioxide.
330. So that's the process by which you say, oh, organic. We know there's no artificial colours in Aldi, so that's okay. But the 330, I don't know what it is. So that's why having an app on your phone is a good idea. Because you can educate yourself, and you can then, once you're educated, you can then make an informed decision. Is this going to be a good food for my family or not? Am I going to pay the extra 20 cents for this?
Yeah.
Now, if you compare this to the non-organic one, there may be the same ingredients, but we know with organic that you get denser nutrients.
Yes.
So it's better for your body.
Yeah.
It's not going to show up on the label, but it's better for your body.
Absolutely.
So I hope that's useful. Now, chemical maize is what, about $10 or $12 now?
Yeah, $11. I think it was $10.99, and it's an Aussie dude, and it's you know, I think 2000, what, 20 years? No, 10 years ago maybe. I was just having a look, but anyway, it's a really good app.
I do. Maybe you can put a link to that up from the show, because
that's a good point. Yeah, I'll put that up.
We don't promote anything on the show, but this is one thing that I really encourage you to look at. It's the best. It's the best way for you to inform yourself about ingredients in food and cosmetics.
Yeah.
Now, if we go back to Salada, we go back to the old Salada.
Yep.
The ingredients. We'll have a look on the packet. So wheat, vegetable oil. We don't know what sort of vegetable oil. Could be palm oil.
Oh, could be
Winter
canola.
palm oil, chopping down native forests.
And canola oil's so bad.
Salt, yeast, baking powder, sugar, malt extract from barley. And then it tells us a whole lot of other stuff that is meaningless. And then we look down the 100-gram column.
Yep.
This is the bit that most people don't understand. Okay, that 100-gram.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Now, what percentage of this is carbohydrates? Can you read that, Sally?
73.7%.
73.7%. So that means it is basically, and if we add up the sugars, which are virtually nothing because they've taken them out, it's 74% sugar by the time it gets into your mouth.
Yep.
Because the carbs are converted to sugar.
Yep. So
that's why we love it. We're going to put butter on it. We're going to put Vegemite on it, or maybe some cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
Oh, yum! We've fallen in love again because of the sugars.
Yeah. Get that big spike, then you drop.
It's got a little bit of saturated fat, and it's got it's about 1% salt. How do we know it's 1% salt? 970 milligrams.
Yes, down the bottom there.
Bottom. So that's 1 gram of salt per 100. 1% salt. That's pretty low, you know.
Pretty low.
So even something like this, which is, well, you might think it's relatively good, but it is processed carbs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's out of the aisle, isn't it? So.
And they've taken out the fiber.
Yeah.
They've taken out the ingredient that would balance what's in the grain anyway.
Mm.
So it's not a natural foodstuff. It's miles from a natural foodstuff.
Yeah.
We all love the little Arnott's label. Of course, we were brought up with it. Makes us feel safe. It's got plenty of emotional connotations. And yes, I eat saladas. And yes, I like them. Yeah. A little bit of what you like.
It's the 80-20 rule, Harry. 80-20 rule. How long have you been making your own bread? I mean, like you mill your own flour, it's amazing. It's incredible.
I don't know whether it would stretch, but would you like to see the mill?
I would love to see the mill again, yes.
I've shown you this. Have a look. Maybe the Wi-Fi will work. Oh, while we're walking down here, you can admire my bow tie. Yes. Absolutely fantastic, very festive.
Yeah.
Here we are. Okay, here we go.
God,
go the other way.
There it is. Yeah, you got it.
So that's an American grinder. The Americans make some things really well, and these are stone.
Yep.
And they work very slowly. And it's called Millwright, and it'll last forever. We've had it since we were in our mid-20s. We've had it.
Are you kidding me? So for nearly 50 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And
We'll turn it on. I'll turn it on. Hang on, you can hear it. It's worth having a little look.
cool.
That's it.
It's fantastic.
I think I've lost you. Go on there.
No, you're there. You're there.
No, I'm in here.
Yeah, I mean, and I have tried your marmalade that you're talking about before, and it's beautiful, homegrown, amazing, beautiful.
So the thing about, you know, and I did a podcast with the Joyful Frugalista a couple of months ago.
Right.
It was, if you're going to get something, you know, if you want it to last, you have to buy really the best you can.
Mm.
That's the Rolls Royce of grinders. It cost us a lot of money. We actually bought it in a co-op all those years ago. But we can hand it on to our kids.
Yeah, yes.
It's so over-specified, you know. You could see how slowly it moved.
Yes, yeah.
And that's, for instance, like if you're going to grind something like coffee, which some people use spice grinders to grind up coffee.
Yep.
It burns the coffee, destroys it.
Yep.
I could show you my coffee grinder, do you want to see my coffee grinder?
I want to see your coffee grinder. Thanks, Harry. Oh, it's show and tell today.
Want to see a coffee grinder? Again, you get something that's going to do the job for a long, long time. Yep. So that's my coffee grinder. There.
Another piece of art.
Weighs a ton.
Yep.
And it's got, again, in the same way, it's got, in the case of this, I don't think I can take the top off. We'll do another session on coffee, but it's got hardened steel grinders, and it grinds really slow. If you grind stuff fast, what happens, do you think?
Well, it would break, destroy the, you know.
No, it heats up.
Yeah.
It heats up and you destroy nutrition.
Yeah.
So
it's like olive oil, you know, you've got to be very particular about that.
Yeah, you do. So heat destroys nutrients.
Yeah.
And so if you're using a grinder that's high speed.
Well, that makes sense. So you've got me thinking now, because I use a Thermomix, Harry. I love my Thermomix.
Yeah.
But that's, you do have different settings on it, but you know, for example, I make almond milk, so I just put blanched almonds in and make that up, and it's got me thinking though. So
yeah, look, I don't know about the almonds, but some things I know with coffee and I know with grains, if you grind them fast, you reduce the nutrition.
Yeah. It's making me think about Melbourne, which is all based on coffee. And all places.
Well, no, but I mean, a good coffee place, they all have good grinders. In fact, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Minson, who I trained with in Denver, he is a coffee aficionado, and he gave me a wonderful piece of advice. He said, look, if you got, say, a couple of $100 to spend on coffee, spend most of it on the grinder.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Spend more of it on the grinds, you know, so you can get up to a professional grinder level if you can. Because it's actually, if you grind it properly, you can then use, you know, pour it over or whatever, a plunger. But if you get, you know, a fancy machine with all those bells and whistles, the high-speed grinder, it's not going to work. So, you know, fast versus slow food, that's the theme, you know. Really.
Yep. That's like, it's a whole other topic, slow cooking and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. Got me thinking. So you are correct. We are what we eat, but it's what we actually absorb. And it's what we're putting in and onto our bodies is so important. And I think particularly in this day and age, where there's so many toxins around us, just in the environment, and it's vitally important. And I started, you know, just recently just into the skincare because it was anti-aging, you know, and looking at what effects it has on our skin. And so it was opened my eyes, because I've always been aware, but I didn't realize how toxic a lot of stuff that I thought was okay in fact, it's not. And all the smoke and mirrors with the labeling and how everything is hidden. Like I literally had my glasses on and I still couldn't read half the labels on half the skincare in the cupboard. That was just an activity, was go and grab some things out of the cupboard and have a look. Couldn't read it for starters.
It's what we've done today. I mean, the pitfall about cosmetics is the fragrance word, 5% out. So basically you need assurance that it's got no nasties in it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ways you can do that. There's a platform called Inner Origin, which only stocks products with no nasties.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which I used to be involved with, but I really can't tolerate multi-level marketing.
No. Yeah.
And you know, it's really, really hard to buy commercial products that don't have products that hormone disrupt.
Yep.
A lot of the multi-level marketing cosmetics are not as good as they tell you they are.
Yep.
I mean, sunscreens is a nightmare.
Yep.
The Heart Foundation tick of approval is a nightmare. It's so misleading.
Yep.
If you look at some of the things that people like, I've gone blank, that Coke support, the foundations that Coke fund, Keep Australia Beautiful, which is, you know, a lot of them distort the whole discussion to maintain, you know, the ability of food companies to go on churning out what they're good at churning out.
Yeah.
They may not be good for the environment.
Mm.
And Coke fought for decades against this container deposit legislation.
That's one of the worst things you can put in your body.
Tooth and nail. So be careful about, you know, research from industry-funded bodies.
Yep.
Really, you know.
Well, look at the whole food pyramid that was put together by the American was the Wheat and Dairy Board or something, and you know, so it was heavily, you know, weighted the wrong way. It's terrible. So you know,
and you know, if you have a look at the Heart Foundation tick of approval, interestingly, this doesn't have a tick of approval on it.
Yeah, and you've got all the other crap, the margarine stuff.
We know that butter actually has products in it that nothing else has.
Yeah.
So you really have to do your own research. You can't rely on.
You can't believe anything unless you research it yourself. It's true. It's really sad.
So if we go back maybe to, have you got a skincare product there, Sally?
I do upstairs, but yeah. Do you want me to grab one?
Look, I'll go and get a sunscreen.
Okay. Oh, sunscreen. Frightening. Frightening. It's a big topic, this one. What else did I find out? Interesting stuff like, you know, sodium nitrate, which is in most processed meats, makes it that red colour.
Yeah. Well, if
makes it look fresh.
I'll fess up to something here. Don't tell it. I actually quite like the taste of bacon, but I won't eat nitrate. I won't eat bacon with nitrates in it.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of
find bacon without nitrates in the supermarket.
Well, I don't think it's possible. And nitrates are put into, like, you know, broccoli and all that sort of stuff to keep them when they're picked and they're stored and brought out. I mean, nitrates are in everything. It's frightening. I was interested, you know, obviously corn syrup is big in the States, not so much here. And artificial sweetness, you know, what's your take on that? Because I'm, you know, the healthy artificial sweetness.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Better off having sugar. Way better.
Absolutely. Natural source of sugar. Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go. Look.
Cancer Council approved. Everyday sunscreen. Great.
So we're hoping that's okay. Well, this is the list of ingredients. Now, we don't know what any of those mean.
And that's just what I mean. You get bamboozled by the chemicals. You think Cancer Council approved?
You can look it up with chemical names.
Yep.
So inform yourself. Look up the ingredients. Find a formulation that you trust.
Yep.
Just trust somebody here.
Yep.
I'm sure they're very good. Here we've got, look, new improved formula. Fantastic. It's new and improved. It was better than last year's version.
And it's an ultra sport version, so I'd love that.
SPF 30, UVA and UVB. Well, that's got to be good. 4 hours. That's 4 hours.
Yeah, great.
Oh my God, it's non-greasy. Good for sport. I don't play sport, but okay. If you're playing
so it doesn't run in your eyes, because there's nothing worse when you're getting sweaty.
And even better, it's very high protection. We've got all the bases covered here.
Yep.
The ingredient, store below 30 degrees. I wonder why that is. Not sure. The ingredients list are on the back.
And
could you look up one of those on Chemical Maze for a cell?
Yep. You might have to turn it around because I can't read that. It's so it's so little.
Okay, the first Octo OCTYL.
Hang on. OCTYL. Yep.
METHOX.
What did you say? D.
TH.
Yep.
OX.
OX. Yep. Octylmethox.
CINN.
CINN.
AMATE.
Jesus. Is that one word?
No, that was 2 words.
Octal. Oh, okay. So
M was a second word.
Yeah. Okay. It's not coming up.
Okay, it's not coming up. So the thing is, some of the words don't come up, but and then it's got 3 lots of preservatives. Who knows whether it's any good? It's in our cupboard. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't looked this one up. Yeah. It takes hours, but it's worth the point. It takes
hours, Harry. And it's just like you try to do the right thing. And I think as a parent, you're trying to buy the right stuff for your kids. And then when I was shocked and horrified, thought I'd been, and not that I want to go into network marketing brands, but some of the good network marketing brands had crap in their stuff. And I'd been spending thousands and thousands with them. And I'm thinking, oh no. And I'm thinking, I thought I was doing the right stuff. I thought at least I was using good quality stuff. And in the end, it had all the nasties in it too. So just because it's a good label, it doesn't mean that it's a good product for you.
This one is light and non-greasy, so I can go.
I love the non-greasy stuff. Yeah.
I've got to go now, Sal, but look, this was fun today.
I know. And, I just a few numbers to keep in your head, like 621 is MSG. Like anytime you see a number, to really start looking up numbers, I encourage people to do that because it's the colorings, the flavorings and all that sort of stuff. And it's not good for you. and download Chemical Maze because it's a good little app that you introduced me to because you can really check everything. So
you can get it on Android, you can get it on Apple.
Yeah.
But if not that, get something. But that's the best one that I know about.
Yeah. And it's an Aussie dude too. Well, thank you, Harry. It is a whole can of worms. And in this day and age, it's super important to just be aware. Get that awareness of what you're putting in and what you're putting on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. And might have a little bit of wild brewberry delight.
Now you're making me hungry. I'm going to go and eat something natural. I'm having egg whites and spinach, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, that doesn't do it for me.
No, we're in 2 different worlds, baby.
You get your you used to get your lemon juice into every day. What I do is we've got a lime tree and I eat a lime every day. I eat the whole lime.
Really?
It's beautiful. They're about this big. They're only small.
Yeah.
And they're lovely. And you bite through the skin and you get all the essential oils coming off the skin.
Oh, that would be
into your mouth.
Yeah.
And that, luckily, we've got no pips, so I can eat the whole thing.
Really? No pips in a lime?
No.
Oh, didn't know.
Not in our lime. Not in our limes. No pips.
Yeah, the beautiful oil though, Harry. It's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's what I do.
Yeah.
I figure it's natural. I just get it off the bush. The food miles are about that long, 10 centimeters from the bush into my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my lordy. Next will be eating witchy grubs and stuff. Oh my goodness. As natural as it comes. Anyway.
Well, in which grams, whatever turns you on. So
Yeah, I know. Your natural form of protein.
okay. All right. See you next week.
Have a great week. We'll see you.